Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another talk in Expo Metaverse from Abmeta, Associação Brasileira de Metaverso, Brazilian Metaverse Association. I'm here with Albert Perez. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thanks so much for giving time and share with us the knowledge and share with us about your work, about the company, and give us a kind of showcase of Stageverse, what you're doing, guys. And also, Albert, please introduce yourself. I know they have a really nice background. So I give you the words, man. Thanks again.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen as I presented. I made some slides. So give me 1 second here. So I share, start my slideshow. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Albert Perez. I'm a technical lead at Stageverse. And a little bit of background of myself before I talk about what I do and what exciting things are happening in Metaverse. So at the very heart of my kind of self is I'm a big gamer. Right? I've played, like everyone else probably here, we've all played video games growing up. We all love video games. You know, we all kind of wish that we made video games, right? And for me, I made that passion a reality. So I went to school for video games, Full Sail University. And then after graduating, I worked on a few projects. I worked on a few indie games. So one thing that I love doing is creating experiences for everyone to try out. So as you can see here on my screen, I've worked on a lot of mobile games from indie level in terms of for Windows Phone, which is a phone that's gone now. But it was such a nice kind of passion of mine to be out there to show you guys what I think is fun and create new things, try out new things, and really capture that in a small form factor. Like everyone plays games on mobile, and it's such a fun thing to do. And anyone out there, you should be trying it too. That's my plug on making games in game design and development. Another thing too is I've from small indie games, I've also worked at Microsoft on the Xbox. So I helped ship the Xbox One a few years ago, as well as other supporting technologies like Smart Glass. I've also worked on titles such as Halo 4, Sunset Overdrive, Rise Son of Rome. These are all AAA studios working alongside these internal Microsoft studios to create and support these games. As you all know, these big AAA games, they take hundreds of people to kind of work together. And it's something that I really enjoy doing, working on these technologies that really push the boundaries of our imagination. And one thing I would say is, the metaverse is born from video games, right? What we're taking right now is taking video games into the metaverse and really how do we make it so that video games and all the systems that we've made uh, be rich and be more social, less about gaming, and really find more uses for it. And that's really what a lot of metaverse is and a lot of the technologies that is used right now. Another important part of the metaverse is the VR, AR, XR component, which I've also worked on. So on this picture that you're seeing is the HTC Vive. It's the first one of the first headsets to ship on the market that was full head and hand tracking, high fidelity, connected to your computer. And a fun fact about this was I started with this team as HTC and Valve kind of signed agreement to work on it, and it was a mad dash of over 1 year of flying back and forth from Seattle and Taiwan every month, trying to get this revolutionary product to market and getting it to a place where it is right now, right? As you can see, it's a big market with VR, with Meta and HTC, Microsoft, Sony, all of these companies still working on it. Obviously, it's kind of evolved and changed from what we originally envisioned it, but I would say that VR is still a very important part of the metaverse and what it entails. Um, and like I said, with VR, I also work on AR. So HoloLens 2 is something that I'm very passionate about. This is what you're seeing is a HoloLens 1, but being able to take the metaverse into the real world is also just as important. And a lot of times you use technologies like AR, using the HoloLens, or the Magic Leap, or even your own phone, because your phones can do augmented reality. So these are the technologies, and this is my background, right? I love working on things, interactions that are cutting edge, hard to do, because it's something that I think more and more people should be doing. And it's really the frontier that we're at, and the metaverse is another big component to that. So that's basically my background, and this is what I'm working on, Stageverse. I don't know if you, Claudia, Fabio, do you have any questions or want to add to it before I start with this? No? Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with it too, with Stageverse. So Stageverse, I would say, is a metaverse platform. Stageverse allows people to come together in a very social way in a 3D spatial environment, and that taking the game technologies and taking something, the social aspect of it, and putting them together, right? And not really concentrate on the game mechanics. What we're concentrating here is social events, live events, and creating spaces for yourself. As I said, the Stageverse is a no-code platform for creators and brands to build metaverse venues and host interactive experiences. So the important part about that is that we want users to be able to create metaverse experiences that are easy to make, right? When you go to places like Roblox, Decentraland, these experiences require a lot of technical know-how in terms of getting spaces created. You have to go into Unity or some separate 3D editor and really have to have some technical skills to do that. But what we're trying with Stageverse is to take that technical aspect and really make it more accessible to people who are not as technical, right? Obviously, you can still do technical stuff if you want, but our main goal is to make beautiful spaces with less technical, needs from the user. So what we're doing here is, we're providing templates. So this is one of them. This is called the gallery. It's a beautiful space that we crafted. And as you would notice, so this is a render of what we're doing. I'll show you in a bit what our in-game stuff looks like. But what's important for us is to provide a beautiful high fidelity experience that people will just say, hey, that's a beautiful space, or hey, that's something that I would want to spend time in. But obviously, there's space for different kinds of art styles, like the Minecrafts, the Robloxes, the Decentralands, the Sandboxes, these other Web3 spaces. But what we decided to bank on is these high fidelity, beautiful spaces, and that's also easy to customize, which is very important for us. And when I say about customization, I mean making it easy. So what we have here is our space editor. Basically, you can add different kinds of items in it, like a Lamborghini or not so Lamborghini, right? As a replica car, you can add chairs, you can have tables, you can have your own images, that you can kind of make that space your very own. All right, so you'll be able to rotate items, you'll be able to use different kinds of things to really spawn in there and make it your own. And we provide multiple different kinds of templates. So for here on the left side, this is the gallery space, which is more for spaces that you want to showcase your art. So you can put it on these screens here with these purple outlines that you can add your images here. You can put video. You can really customize it to however you want it to look like, as well as a different vibe here. So this is on the right side is our private island. If you want some place to just chill, you can place, loungers. You can place chairs with fire pits. You can have a DJ booth. You can have a party here, and have video playing, music playing. You can change the feel of the whole space by adding all kinds of things. And for us, this is like the vision we're trying to build. And as you all know, making a metaverse is not easy. It's always something you continuously build on. So we're still very early in our tool sets and what we can provide and offer, but we are so excited to share what we have here to the world. And you can already try this. It's all live on stageshowers.com. You can build your own space. You can customize your avatar as much as you want. And another thing with the metaverse, right? Or anything when you say metaverse, usually what you think about is NFTs and gaming technology kind of put together. So we have that as an offering as well. So what we have here are our prisms. These prisms what represent are NFTs that represent plots of land in our metaverse. So basically, you can go on OpenSea, and you can purchase any of these NFTs there if you do want to. You don't have to. These are entirely uh, pieces of land that it's nice to have, but it's not a requirement to own. And the reason why it's important, right, is because it's tied to this map. So you can see here, this is the map of our metaverse, or the current iteration of our metaverse. So you can see here, there's different kinds of neighborhoods, different kinds of plots of land that you can purchase and you can buy. And what this provides is, let's think of it as a stage of sorts, right? Players or users will kind of go into this space and they want to explore. And what part of the exploration is having a spatial relationship with the different spaces. So for example, you can buy some piece of land close to the center stage, or you can buy a bigger plot of land a little bit further. You can combine them. You can kind of use that to advertise and really, put a spot in there. And the cool thing about this is each plot of land that you purchase, you can actually go in there and really and see what your space looks like in the metaverse. And right now we're still kind of working on that part. So right now you'll see what we would call your Genesis plot, what it looks like right now. It will slowly expand out in the near future as we're kind of working on these technologies. But like I said, the land is something you don't need to own to in order to use our experience. It's nice to have it. It's more of a future kind of endeavor in terms of expanding your experience in the metaverse, especially if you're a brand, right? If you wanted to buy, a big plot of land or multiple plots of land and combine them, you can advertise that. You can have a big, you know, kind of like when Sandbox did Snoop Dogg, right? When Snoop Dogg purchased that piece of land, suddenly it became very valuable what's around there because you could say, hey, I'm Snoop Dogg's neighbor. Obviously, that's like a tip of the iceberg kind of thing. There's so much to explore. There's so much new concepts, new techniques, new technologies to kind of figure out and explore and create and invent that we're working on that part.
Yeah, I think this kind of idea of exploring it's pretty good, but because it's we are shaping this right now, right? So we have base, there's some stuff that works, especially like getting all the backgrounds from communications and all the backgrounds about gaming, and then you start with this process, okay, so you're not gaming, you're not playing game, not challenging with your friends, you're just doing social media there, but what else can you do it? What else can you do it that it's going to be for you value to do in the metaverse, to doing with this kind of technology, and that's the thing, like how you're engaging with this technology, how you get familiar with this, and how we're going to create different kind of stuff, specs that's going to start creating a kind of vocabulary, let's say, for this. This is cool. It's cool. I think your next slide it's cool. It's avatar, right?
Yeah. So the next slide here. So the next slide here, right? So pretty much, I'm pretty sure most people at this point have played with some avatar system, either through a game or maybe some other metaverse, right? But day to day, we are our own avatars, right? We pick the clothes that we want. We decide, depending on the weather, depending on our mood or feeling, and usually just buy it online, right? You can say, hey, I want this piece of shirt, I want this color. But the cool thing about the metaverse, or at least for our platform, is that you can just think about what pattern you want, right? You can literally say, hey, I want, this triangles with unicorns and elephants and bagels, right? and you just type it
Yeah,
out.
I love their unicorn. I'm pretty sure that my daughter would say, I want these clothes.
Yeah, exactly. And you just do it and it's free, right? That's the best part is you don't have to physically go to the store or buy it online. You can try it out. And like, especially if you see some design you like, maybe out there, like, hey, what does it look like if I mix these patterns? You can definitely do that, and use that as a form of expression, which I think is really the most important thing too. Is if you can see here, right? So the metaverse with its avatars, and this other industry with AI generating images based off words and doing it in a way that it's faster and faster, like 20 seconds, 10 seconds of generating an image that came from your head and making it happen, right? So, right now, a lot of times we have this AI image generation, it just turns it into an image, which in its own right is very amazing, right? You can create an image, you can make a beautiful vista, but what are you going to do with all these images, right? You can collect them for sure. You can turn them to NFTs if you want. A lot of NFTs have done that. But also, we can use that directly onto avatars, into digital objects, and really generate more value. So right now, we're in this phase where 2D image generation is basically the the thing that everyone does, right? But on the edge of it, and it's already very close, right? There's a lot more 3D generation happening now. So, for example, you know, uh, you can put any word you want in 2D. It's pretty high fidelity. Right now, if you do 3D image generation with some of the examples I've seen, is it'll create it, and it won't be optimized for game engines just yet, but it does create, like when you say, hey, I want a pink elephant riding, a balloon or on top of the ball, it will generate a 3D image that you can load into the game engines. But I think, as we all know, or might have suspect, going from a 2D image to a 3D image has a lot more complications because of technology and how the game engines that power the metaverses work. So there's a lot more consideration and thoughtfulness that needs to happen. But I'm so excited because that is basically what solves the problem that we have right now is it we need content, right? The metaverse is so vast because of our imagination that we want it to be able to be created by just speaking a few words, right? When you remember Star Trek, the holodeck, a lot of times when they go there, they just tell the computer, "Hey, I want this setting, I want that, I want this era, I want to be in a bar, I want to be in outer space, whatever it is that they want," and the computer just generates it, right? And that for the longest time, that has been the stuff of imagination. But we're so close, we're almost there that we don't have to have a person meticulously create the vision that you have in your mind into a 3D environment. Now that we're so close to the AI, computers can do it for us. So I'm so excited for that. And this is like our first step, right? Is getting the 2D images on avatars and being able to remix it, which is so important. Which also comes into expression, right? Um, with the images before, I showed you spaces. We want to create expressive spaces. We also want to be able to express ourselves in different ways as avatars, right? This goes from gender to the clothes you wear, to the patterns you wear, or what you don't wear and what you wear, color of your hair, and really allows us to be creative and try things out that you can't do in the real world. And that's what the beauty of the metaverse is it allows us to be whoever we want to be and be able to experiment, which I think is better for everyone. So that's my view of the metaverse, and a lot of the systems that we work on Stage First is allowing creativity and expression. And another thing too with the metaverse is allowing people to hang out, right? So what we learned from having going through COVID is that are what we've kind of grown up with, being social, being next to each other, can just as easily be taken away from us, right? Or events be canceled. So one of the things that we did during the pandemic was release this Muse concert called Enter the Simulation, which you were able to go into the concerts with other people in VR and mobile and be able to share a whole concert experience and really make it so that when you go online onto a metaverse space, there is a purpose, right? You're not just going there to explore things. You can, but the magic of the metaverse is when people show up and you interact with them, you create new friendships, the same friendships that you make in real life, right? Like when you're chatting on Discord, on Facebook, on Twitter. But instead of just being behind, a 2D screen with text or images or videos, you can express and make friendships using 3D, like in a game, right? We've done that in many games now, but we're making it a hyper focus now in the metaverses for outside of games. And one
Absolutely.
thing, oh yeah, go
I
ahead.
kind of have this experience in Cannes Festival, like
Mhm.
with the pandemic. So they keep the festival everything by virtual reality, so it was free in Steam, so which was very democratic, because like the cost is going there, all the things, time, and it was like amazing that they could manage to try some of the experience that was available in the platform and do network, and then was awesome. It was like a sense of presence,
Yeah,
that's the thing, even being like not so intense as going personally was a very positive experience. Of course I have all the experience after, but for me, uh, it was something that I really want to do it, in my life, go to the Cannes, to the festival, to the cinema festival, especially
yeah,
because one of my backgrounds is cinema too. So was great, and also here in Brazil we have this kind of experience of bringing events and concerts for the metaverse to have a different way to experience together, right? To
yeah.
experience together the connection of going a concert, to go with your friends, this kind of stuff. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would love to try. You should have sent me a link. You didn't do this, Albert.
Uh, I'll send you a link after. I think that we're already kind of done with the Muse simulation theory concert, but it was such a great experience for us, and a lot of people showed up for this. I can't really tell the numbers, but it was a lot of people, and it was so exciting, and just getting the feedback out of this, and working with Muse, right? This is Muse. They're not a small band. They're a worldwide phenomenon, and they're always like really good when they do their live shows, and being able to see different views of it, be on stage, and interact with your friends while you're at it is nothing short of magical, I would say. But yeah, so the Muse was kind of the past, and now something a little bit more recent, right? So we've had a lot of different performances happen. Like we have Kingdom NFT use Stageverse for live events, and it really that's where we find most of our magic is like bringing people together to watch live events or experience them together. Like this talk show here, we have Vivica Fox hosting the American Reality Television Awards. It's streamed in different media, right, with 2D screens, but it's not quite the same when you can actually be in the same room and see other people, cheering, using emotes, chatting. And especially with chatting too. So I would say with our voice chat technology is that we actually use spatial voice, right? So when someone is talking and they're far away from you, they're actually pretty muted. But if you're close to them, you can hear them like you would hear them in real life, which is super important because for something like Zoom, right? When you're in a Zoom meeting with say 10, 20, 30 people, basically that only one person can talk in time, right? There is no side conversations that are natural. Um, and you lose a lot of that togetherness or what you're used to growing up or, in real life. But when you use something like Stageverse where there's spatialness, where you can actually split off into different groups, you can see that everyone's still there enjoying it, but you kind of have your different conversations like a party or event in the workspace. You can more freely socialize and really express yourself. You can cheer by just doing an emote of like you cheering. You don't have to kind of say it, or if you don't want to show your face, a lot of people are working from home, they want to show the environment or unable to. We're allowing that with our technology, or not allowing, but we're enabling people to do that with our kind of platform. So that's really a lot of big the big powerful addition that the metaverse platforms do is like we allow people who may not be able to show themselves or not comfortable showing themselves be able to express themselves, which is I think super important. And with that, that's kind of like my presentation on what we do at Stageverse. Right now, it's already free. It's free, and you can try it out. You can build spaces. You can edit your avatar. You can use Stable Diffusion AI to create your wardrobe however you want. So just go to stageverse.com and try it out. It works on mobile. On sorry, not yet on mobile. Soon on mobile. Very soon, probably in a week or two, you'll see it on mobile with our updated uh, effects. But you can go on a browser on your computer and be able to try it out. Our newest stuff at stageverse.com.
Oh, that's great. Would like to show some perhaps open Stageverse and show a little bit for us. I think if everybody is going to be like curious, but just to teasing a little bit more, you know, like having you showing us the platform and like the
Sure.
first step. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want me to show it? I can definitely show it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm loading it in the background right now. I'll share my screen when it loads up, so I don't have to look at loading screen.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any questions or comments you want to talk about while this is loading at the moment?
No, man, this is pretty good. Like when all the things you said, it's very true. You know, like well, with the lack we have with the pandemic, the acceleration of the process, and the possibilities of creating environments and get people together and have a nice environment that you feel pleasant to be. And the other thing, like you can create the texture of your own avatar. So, man, that's good. Looks stunning. It's really nice asset.
All right. So there's a Stageverse right here. So this is my avatar right now. As you can see, I'm obviously not a woman in real life, but I felt like I wanted to be female in this time around. So I was able to edit it. You can run around. This is what we call the center stage. It's when you're here. Basically, this is your drop-in point of where you want to be. And over here, we have a set of different portals that can kind of direct you to the different places. So what we'll do is we'll go to the club lounge first. So this is an example of what our lounges will be. So these lounges were created using our tool sets. They were nothing special in terms of like you'll be able to create the same lounge or modify it however you want.
Okay.
So right now these images were created using I think Midjourney, one of the other image generation tools. We've managed to put them there. As you can see here, we have a different dance floor that you can kind of dance on.
Yeah. Oh, you're dancing pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool part about it, right? And also, yeah, the robot. And also, like, we have a screen here, which is the video player. So right now, you can actually add any YouTube video URL in there and kind of set the mood. I don't have the volume playing, but you can have music, a dance party in there, any YouTube you want. You can have your own kind of cooking show if you want. You can set up the environment.
Yeah, this place was a user that created it was from your team.
This was from our team. So we can jump into one of the user created spaces here. Let's see. We have martinis and moonshots. So this space is kind of popular for a lot of people, but you can load it up. So this is kind of the same template, right? I talked about before. You can have your own template. You use the same template, but you see that people customize it, the mood of the space changes greatly, which is kind of exciting for us because it really unlocks it so that our customers and users can kind of
okay. As I can see, it's like the same template, but the person customized.
Yeah. So as you can see here, you can even put a portal, so you can connect your spaces together. Obviously, these guys like martinis and
yeah, this guy likes machine for sure.
Yeah, and they
I would
have a dance
I would
floor
have more
here,
beer. Yeah.
right?
Okay. Cool,
So
man.
they have the bars, they have a moon. All right, so
Yeah.
there's that.
One question. How is the integration with the wallets? Now, since you have NFT possibilities
Yeah.
and can I bring my assets inside of the platform? How you're doing this kind of integration? How is
So
the market for this? Because this is a kind of pain, you know, like how can I bring my assets to this metaverse or to other metaverse, this kind of stuff.
right. So right now we're kind of working with through PFPs. So you can kind of connect your wallet through MetaMask. So right now this is actually one of my NFTs. So it's a 2D image. So it replaces your kind of profile picture. So if I click on identity library, oh, I don't have my MetaMask set up right now, but you'll be able to kind of pick the NFT you want. And obviously, our goal is to be interoperable with 3D objects, right? So if someone has like someone bought a shoe from Artifact or someone bought a jacket somewhere else, that they'll be able to load it up. But as probably the metaverse is a lot more complex once you get
No?
to the 3D items, right? But in 2D, it's a little bit more simple. So that's kind of like our first step into it, and we're still kind of developing how do we work with other 3D objects, and really it's a industry wide effort. It's not just one company that can push it. Everyone has to kind of work through that.
Yeah. Oh, sounds great. Sounds great. Albert, thank you so much. I think it's we can have like last words. That's it. Would like to
Yeah,
do
I
anything
would
else?
say, yeah, I would say that the metaverse is a very vibrant and fun place to be in. It has its challenges, as we all know, with what's happening around the world right now. But I think there is a big need for this as we become more and more digital natives of the internet, the metaverse, and the need to be social. Um, and I think it just really unlocks the potential of the whole world. To be honest, like I would say, like if we're more familiar with more people around the world, I think we all become better people, and the metaverse is the perfect technology for that. So that's how I will end things.
Oh, that's great. Sounds great. Well, it's also important. Like when you speak about metaverse, you have two point of views. You know, you have like this, let's say, the future of the social media, right? Like Stageverse, like VRChat, like Spatial, and Roblox and Sandbox. You know, many others. But when you speak about the ecosystem, you know, this is huge. You know, like all the infrastructure you're developing right now, all the way you are getting and putting things together. You know, like in the beginning of your presentation, you show your experience with digital twin using HoloLens. So right now, there is a hype for digital twins. You know, all the companies are seeing these very nice possibilities. Okay, so if I can track my machines and equipment, I can establish a better way. Maybe I can use AI, machine learn to analyze and maybe show me that I should change the roads. Let's say, you know, like if you have something that you have machine moving around, maybe you should change the course, and then you can save in a year thousands or millions of money.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
and this kind of how we are putting this text together, and how important it is to keep doing what Stageverse is doing, you know, like to provoke the market, to provoke the people. Today have as Sandbox is doing to this, to provoke people to they create and to they imagine it and to rethink the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's very promising, right? Promising, yeah.
Yeah, promising. It's not
Yeah.
easy, but it's getting easier, and it's just like when you see other people do it, we go start thinking I can do that too, because you see that someone already did it, which is I think super important.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's it. Okay, Albert, thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for sharing with us. So, bye bye, guys, and keep in touch.